Hey, welcome to Nerd News Now for July 6th, 2020.
Is it still
Uh,
2020?
I think, yeah, somehow it is still 2020. We are now officially good though, so that's the good news, I guess.
I'm
I
totally giving 2020 side eye right now.
Yeah. You know what? I think there's going to be a lot of good positive changes in it, but there's been a lot of changes, right? I mean, even within trickling down to the comic book industry, I think that those will be a lot of the changes from within are going to be good. I think the whole, DC Diamond thing was probably an eye opener for a lot of people, but they'll adapt to change, and we'll just say, I mean, it happens, so it's kind of you just kind of got to adapt to it, right? But I'm with Miss Jen and Chaz this week. Miss Jen, starting with you, how was your Fourth of July, and how's the past week been?
4th of July was weird, man, because I do a live show from 8 to 10 on Saturdays. And so I was already back there live when all the worlds seemed to end because there's so much fireworks that goes off in Imperial Oaks. And I was really, I'm sure everyone was worried for my safety because I think everyone was doing fireworks on Saturday, and everyone. It was like when I went to the Netherlands. I don't know if you guys know what they do there. They're forbidden from using fireworks all year round. But on New Year's, everyone in the Netherlands can use fireworks, and they're also a non-weapon place too. So everyone does, like, every single person does their full fireworks display. So you can sit on your back porch and watch, like, every neighbor for miles around is doing the full thing. It's so beautiful.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
I am not a fireworks person, so
I'm not.
I just kind of bunkered down and hid. It's just like, yeah, I mean, and it's funny, like, obviously, like, in the area I live, fireworks are forbidden, right? But that doesn't do anything. The signs don't work. People still buy. I mean, if you're still allowed to buy them and then you go home, you would think that they would just prevent people from buying them. But hey, if you're safe, do what you want. But like, yeah, it's just that's all I really did. I just stayed in, tried to hide from all this stuff. Chaz, you saw some fireworks, right? Did you do
And I
something
got
for online?
see. What's up?
I said, did you do something for Woodlands Online covering that?
I did. I was on the pre-show.
And what was that like?
Oh, it was cool. It was very fast and just there was we were like on a time limit and we were over that time when we started things. But it was cool though. It was a front row seat to a great fireworks display. Got to talk a little bit about the adventure begins, and it was cool, man. I appreciate the Woodlands Online for letting me be a part of it. It was hot though, man. It was hot.
I
I was
bet.
just
Yeah.
sweating.
Yeah, it's just been hot or cloudy or hot and cloudy, humid, just standard Texas weather. Chaz, are you typically a fan of fireworks personally?
I mean, I could take them or leave them. Tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I did enjoy what the Woodlands did because obviously it was the same bang bang, but there's actually some pretty cool designs within designs, and you really don't get to see that much. And it's like they put a little bit of thought and effort to it. So it was really cool. There was a couple of times where I was like, man, that's pretty awesome. Um, but I mean, for the most part, it's just I could take it or leave it. If you see one firework, you've seen them all. But watching fireworks though gives you like that American pride thing for at least a split second where you're like, America. I mean, it's just blowing stuff up. The only thing I was missing was a Budweiser, and then like,
I just I'd be fine with them if they made no noise. That's my thing. I just like the loud booms and bangs. No thanks. Don't
yeah, I
need.
was talking. I was talking to Jarek earlier, and he said that he was kind of having a rough time with the fireworks this year. He said something along the lines of he didn't know if he was like experiencing like PTSD from a former life. Like, I don't think he enjoyed the fireworks this year, and I don't know why. He's not here to defend himself, but I know he didn't like them this year at all.
No, people. I mean, people were going crazy with them all over. If you look up footage of Los Angeles
Uh-huh.
on the evening of Fourth of July, it looks like a war zone because they always have cop helicopters flying over because they love their police chases and stuff on the local news there, and so you have like this sky footage of just fireworks on multitudes of level, block after block after block, where they're not supposed to have them, and just going crazy. I mean, it does looks like a movie. It is nuts.
I haven't seen any of that. I'll take your word for it.
And then also, people with dogs generally are not okay with the fireworks because their dogs just go insane. Like it's a dog, and you can't explain to a dog like this is how we celebrate our freedom. Like they're not, they do not respond well to fireworks and do not understand. So
Yeah, I
No,
saw a lot of that on social media.
no lie. I went to the we were walking over by the Whole Foods, and they have a little like dog and cat boutique or whatever over there. And they had a sign out that was advertising like pot for your pets, so they wouldn't get all worked up over the firework.
is that a thing now?
It totally is.
Okay, I didn't. Well, is it like CBD oil or is it something or is it actual? Okay, yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
The
So-
scoop snacks. There you go.
Yeah, that's well, that's the thing is like you take those Scooby snacks and you'll get the munchies and be ready for more Scooby snacks. So they know what they're doing and they sell dog cookies there. I've been in there. I haven't had any of the dog cookies. Well, not many of them, but yeah, no, but that particular location usually has some pretty creative signs. So
Yeah.
yeah. So well, you know what? If that's what you got to give your pup to get him through the night, hey, you gotta do it because yeah, I can't imagine. You know, dogs obviously have ultra sensitive hearing, and you can't explain to them what's going on. But fireworks are something I would rather just like watch on television because then you don't get the bing bing boom, fing fing boom effects.
Can you imagine though? Like, I mean, dogs are somewhat, fairly smart. Same as cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just hanging out. For the most part, I would imagine, at least in my house, if I were to have a dog, it's pretty quiet. I'm a pretty quiet dude. Maybe a loud action movie here or there, but can you imagine just being a dog, just hanging out, and then all of a sudden, like, all this is going on? You're like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Like, this sucks.
And they typically can't remember anything like the next hour. So how are they going to remember something like, oh yeah, it's July 4th. Okay, it's fine. They're not going
Right.
to remember. Like you leave for 5 minutes, they think you've been gone for like 6 days. So
Yeah,
they have no
like that
concept.
whole- Yeah, that whole, like, what, 1 year is like 7 years to them or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
that's like eternity, dude. That's like the entire Vietnam War for a dog. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that and that's the thing is like, people are going to do what they want, period. And they're definitely going to do what they want when they're celebrating their freedom. So I guess blow stuff up, but just be safe about it. So I haven't, I didn't I didn't search to see if there was any accidents, but I haven't heard of any in this area anyway. So that's good.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't heard of anybody, shooting their pistols up into the air, which is in true Texas fashion. But I don't think anybody's was hurt from that.
That was like a CSI episode once.
Oh well, yeah, of course. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll see them on the unsolved murder shows. Every
No.
once in a while, somebody's shooting a gun into the air. Somebody's cooking in their kitchen, and all of a sudden, bullets start flying around. They don't know what's going on. They think it's drive-by. They go into the dude's history because they think he's a big drug dealer, but he's like a math teacher. So it just ruins this guy's life because somebody's shooting a gun in the air.
Yeah, no, I heard some stories on NPR of people that just got overzealous with fireworks and like they were just interested in fireworks and it was one guy and he ended up like getting some imported fireworks that he did not know were illegal and they had just passed at the time like a terrorism act. So not only did he blow up his kitchen, but he also got charged with domestic terrorism because of because of fireworks. So,
Dude, check it out though.
yeah.
If you're importing fireworks, you know damn good and well that they're illegal because whatever you need that's legal, you can buy at any stand that's every 4 or 5 blocks. But if you're like, let me go to the internets for fireworks, when you're like, I had no idea, you liar, you're lying, or you have zero common sense. So that's what you get for lying. Don't be a liar.
Yeah, but I mean, in that case, your kitchen blows up. You're lucky no one was standing in it or right next to it. So, I mean that.
I feel that if you're buying illegal fireworks, there's not much cooking going on, at least food wise, in your house.
Yeah.
Just saying.
No. But I mean, just like it was a party and there was like 20 people outside, so luckily they were outside. But I mean, people are gonna celebrate their freedom how they want. So there you go. At least it sounds like we were safe, so that's good. Um, okay, we're gonna start off with movies, but this is also music, and we lost a master composer today, actually, within the last 24 hours. This is Ennio Morricone, and you of course know him, huh?
I thought you were talking about somebody totally different. That was like a master composer. But go ahead, because we lost somebody else today.
Now, who did you think I was talking about?
I thought you were talking about Charlie Daniels.
Yeah, well, okay, he's important to Texas and fiddle music, but
that's where I thought you were going with it, and I was like, this dude, he's been getting into that stuff that calm your dogs down during fireworks.
no, this is a true legend, and I saw your buddy Kevin Smith give him a shout out today as well. This is Ennio Morricone, and of course, you know him from the score of Good, the Bad, the Ugly. He was nominated for 6 Oscars for original score, and he ended up finally winning for The Hateful Eight in 2016. Just really I mean, 400 different films and TV shows. So this guy's music was everywhere, and obviously for the whole genre of the spaghetti western, it was all kind of, when you see any kind of standoff scene like that, I mean, the Good, the Bad, the Ugly theme just automatically plays. So I didn't know if you guys had any thoughts on him or his music, but just very influential in film composing.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a great film. What I associate with him with the most is Metallica. They play Ecstasy of Gold, which you know from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly at every single one of that's how they start their concert. Every single one of their shows. So even watching the movie, as soon as I hear it, I think Metallica. So I don't know. I mean, yeah. Goodbye. Tip of the hat, I guess.
Miss Jen, what about you? Are you familiar with any of his music from any other movies we haven't mentioned?
No, not really. I mean, I probably am, but don't know it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I know a big famous one he had was Cinema Paradiso. The end of that, especially, really gets to people. But now this guy just did so much stuff, was so influential, so you can find his influences spread all throughout. But yeah, wow, 400 scores for film and television. There's so much stuff. He passed away at the age. Moving on, so the Turtles, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, are getting a new movie, but it's going to be a first for them. It's the first animated Turtles movie to be released in the theaters. It's going to be produced by Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg. And now this is coming off the heels, like they've had, a couple of not so successful animated series. So I don't know if Nickelodeon's sort of like going all in and thinking like, okay, people still want Turtles, but we're just going to give it to them on the big screen. But this is going to be distributed by Paramount. So that is happening now. When you guys think of Turtles, we'll start with you, Miss Jen. Do you think of comics, action figures, cartoons, or movies? What's your first thing you associate with the Ninja Turtles?
I think of Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go.
So the movies, Vanilla Ice, right?
It's a wrap.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice almost put on a 4th of July concert in Dallas, but canceled it second. Yeah, almost. Chaz, what about you? What medium do you associate the most with turtles?
Man, that's tough. As a kid, one of my favorite movies was that very first one, and I watched it not too long ago. That very first live action movie, and it actually holds up. And the animation, the animatronics in it is really fun. So I don't know. My first intro to TMNT was the original book. My uncle had them, so when they all had red bandanas and it was darker, I said, "This is really cool concept." But I think I was still too young to kind of realize what I was looking at. But then the movie, and then of course I had all the toys, when I was a kid, like everything. But I don't know. So I kind of think of a little bit of everything, a little bit of comics, a little bit of movies, a little bit of cartoons. Not so much when they teamed up with the Power Rangers and their costumes got horrible. I remember like a birthday present, a friend of mine gave me the Ninja Turtles on tour like tape, like when they did like a rock and roll tour, and it was absolutely atrocious.
Yeah, of course.
I thought it was such a bad show that I took it out on the friend who got it for me. Was like, this is crap. Like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And we still are not friends to this day. So I'm sure he hates it, but yeah, I think I had to move anyway. So, but yeah, so a little bit of everything. My favorite turtle, though, Michelangelo, obviously.
See, I thought you were going to say you associate them most with Metallica, because Metallica always closes their show with "Go Ninja Go," but it just doesn't go that way. No, I think for me the video games. I remember that 4-player arcade Ninja Turtles game was awesome. That was like the highlight of any arcade and or bowling alley or skating rink back.
As a kid, and those the little mousers would jump, like get on your hand, and you have to shake it off. I was at an arcade just the other day with somebody very special, and there was that game, and I was wanting to play it. We ended up playing the old X-Men game, and that wasn't as fun as I remember as a kid. But the TMNT 4-player game is always a lot of fun if you're into arcades.
Yeah, and then of course they have like all the home variations which were never as good, like on Nintendo or Super Nintendo. And now graphically they could do it, but all the licensing is always wrapped up, so they can't just make a pure port for PS4 or whatever. But that and the original Playmates toy line still gets a lot of traction from collectors, and they've remade it in recent years, anniversary editions, and that's becoming a big thing now. I guess just my age is like the Ghostbusters toys from when I was a kid are being put on Walmart shelves, like as we speak, and just not really modified in any type of way. Like they're just putting the original molds right back onto the shelf. Mm-hmm. So that and Turtles and X-Men lines, some of the classic Toy Biz Marvel stuff. But yeah, I mean it's hard to kind of separate Turtles because it's just all just this power conglomerate of all this stuff. So around 4 Mutant Ninja Turtles. So pretty crazy.
Well, I think, a lot of these toy companies are they got their finger on the pulse as far as nostalgia. Every generation, as soon as they get old enough, they're like, okay, well, my stuff was either thrown away or gave it away to whatever, so I want that piece of my childhood back. And I think it happens with every generation. And it's, with toys that we used to play with are coming back to us the way that they were. Like, yes, give me that. I do that a lot, especially at conventions. I'll go and see a toy I used to have, and I'm like, I want it. Give it to me. And then I'm like, why did I pay $150 for this? This is ridiculous.
Yeah. And the other thing is a lot of their work is being done for them. If they just go to Netflix and watch the toys that made us, They could just go, oh, we'll just recreate wave one of, My Little Pony as is or He-Man as is, and like just make money.
Well, see, and they kind of did that, especially with the Masters of the Universe stuff. But it costs like $50 an action figure. You're like, dude, what are you doing? It could give us just the regular market price for what toys are going for now, and I would have bought the whole collection. I think toy makers would have seen a big spike in that, because it's like, okay, $50. Well, yeah, I'm gonna get He-Man or Skeletor, maybe one of the B characters like Beastman or something, but you're not going. Very, very rarely is somebody gonna go for like the entire line at that price point. So, yeah, you lost on it.
And I think that might come down to licensing as well, because I know for a while, like Super 7, that independent toy manufacturer, had the license. But if they're going to make anything that's at like that collector level scale that MattyCollector.com used to do, like the Mattel mail away service, those were like $25 a pop when they made it. So if an independent toy company comes in and has to make that articulation with that level of molding, I mean, it's going to cost $30 or $40 a pop. So, they just need to streamline that stuff again. But obviously, Kenner has had this idea on lock for Star Wars the entire time, right? Because they'll make big fancy versions of the characters, but then they also know, oh, we can just make the original mold, maybe a slightly different color variation to not confuse, the original collectors. Put it on a card, and we're good. And sell it like $12 a pop.
Yeah, and you're making money off of something that's already out there.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, so I don't even know where I was going with that or this or what.
The new animated series, the animated movie for teens.
I just like talking about toys.
I do too.
Now, Miss Jen, I saw you post on the Space Cats site the news for this next bit of information. There is going to be a Zatanna movie. Rumored. It's rumored. It's not been confirmed by anyone. I don't know if people are like trying to will this into existence. But Warner Brothers rumored to be doing a Zatanna solo movie, which I think is awesome. But I don't know how that would work with all their Justice League Dark stuff. They typically don't produce an individual movie of a character that is going to be used on like a premium TV show. I hope it happens. Have you heard anything else on that? And has her first appearance or any other key issues spiked because of this information?
It has. I mean, the hunt is on, but to be really blunt, all of the books with Zatanna in them already are so hard to find. Like really, really hard to find. I have none. I mean, unless you can account some Justice League Dark where she actually appears. But they're on the hunt for so many things. They asked me for them again today, and I had none of the things they were looking for. It's just no one gives them up from their collection is part of the problem. Everyone holds on to it.
I know a lot of those, like her, I think her, I don't know if it was like 2007, 8, 9, something like that, but her run of her solo book, it had a lot of Adam Hughes covers. So those are all always hard to get. And then her first appearance is Hawkman #4, which is from the 60s. So that was already a high price book and very, very hard to find in any kind of decent condition. So, but I do think the character, like, it's there for the taking. My question is, my only real question, and this isn't fair to Zatanna, but my question from this is, where's Batgirl? Where's Batgirl? Like, I don't understand where Batgirl is. Can we get Batgirl's movie finally made first, and then we can make everyone else's movie? But I just want.
You bring that up, but that whole thing with Michael Keaton coming back, right? And them talking about doing the Batman Beyond. But the thing is, I just read that they're not going to do Dude Batman for Batman and Beyond. They're talking about doing Batgirl instead.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work, but I read that from a couple of different sources. But again, that could just be whatever. Because Michael Keaton really hasn't confirmed, I don't think, anything. But so that would be cool. Maybe they're just holding off.
I just really want Barbara Gordon. I mean, Batgirl at all, but Barbara Gordon especially. I want her to be a part of this DCU. I mean, since it's happening, and I'm thinking maybe a guy like James Gunn, who just has his finger on the pulse of comics and comic history. Maybe they just kind of have her as Oracle in Suicide Squad too. I mean, I'd be fine with that too. It's just weird that Barbara Gordon has not been seen or heard from, especially when you have a Birds of Prey movie that was the team started and funded by her, and she was nowhere to be seen. But so other than Batgirl, other than Zatanna, what other female characters would you like to see in the DCU? Miss Jen, I'll let you take that first.
I really, because there's a storyline that came out, I don't know, maybe it was 2 years ago in Wonder Woman where they had the new bad guy, the Swan. I don't know. I like that storyline. I'd like to see them play that one out because that one was kind of a cool, like, up close and personal bad guy.
Yeah. And Chaz, what about you? What DC heroines do you think would be primed for a DCU appearance?
Oh, I don't know. Probably like maybe a Black Canary, or I don't know. Poison Ivy get her own thing only because I think she's such a big character. Maybe something without Harley Quinn, as far as Ivy goes. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Harley, and I think a team up between Poison Ivy and Harley is a really good idea. I mean, they're just best friends, but I think when she's by herself, she's more menacing. She's more evil. She's not as playful. I don't know. Maybe do something with Huntress outside of maybe some of those maybe those Birds of Prey characters just, I don't know, do it the Marvel way, man. Give us those independent films first and then team them up. Like, let me have some kind of an emotional connection with these people before you put them all together. Huntress says she has potential to have be a great character, and but you just don't know anything about her because it's a Harley Quinn movie.
Yeah, it was a Harley Quinn, and I think this is already happening. The Mr. Miracle movie, but Big Barda would be a welcome addition on the big screen, and Jessica Cruz Green Lantern, whether she was like a part of the Green Lantern Corps or if you wanted to build a movie around her and taking over the helm from a former Green Lantern. But any of those.
Know that the voice for Big Barda she actually lives locally.
Yeah, you told me that before. That was for like all the Justice League Unlimited stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Or just like any of the DC animated stuff?
Yep.
Oh, right on. She's like in the Woodlands?
Yeah, she'll come by every once in a while, and it's so rare that I don't recognize her to see her until she mentions it again, because she will mention it, not in an annoying way. She'll be like, "Do you remember me?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Cool.
She drops down a Big Barda like comic. She was like, "I get the Big Barda discount. Do I not?" But you know what would be kind of cool though too? Like, you know how Marvel's doing like the TV shows and the movies and all that jazz? Like maybe if they were to do some of those movies where Amanda Waller's like mixed in between and like she appears at the TV shows and stuff like that, that would be kind of cool. But I don't know. DC just needs to get their crap together as far as movies come anyway. So, yeah, just saying.
Yeah, well, I mean, if the Michael Keaton thing comes to fruition, that's a really big step for the Flash, and then we'll kind of see how this Robert Pattinson Batman goes. But maybe, but then again, but that Batman movie is not going to build their universe at all. So
nope.
Yeah.
And you know what? If Michael Keaton's coming back as Batman in any way, shape, or form, sorry, Patton, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Your Batman does not matter anymore.
Well,
I mean, really? I mean, everybody's gonna be like, dude, where's Michael Keaton? Like, everybody. That's what everybody's gonna wait. I mean, they're gonna want. So whatever.
Yeah. Well, so Chris Hemsworth is going to be in a non-MCU film coming up, and he's going to have to start working out because he's just not in shape enough to play the guy that he's about to play. So that means he's going to have to get more muscles on top of the muscles he already had to beat Thor. So he's about to play a character from real life that needs more muscles than Thor. Do either of you know who this is?
Wait, a character from real life? Like, what do you mean a character?
Chris Hemsworth is going to be in a biopic.
Oh, okay.
That's going to be directed by Todd Phillips.
Okay.
So it's based on a real person.
Okay. Now
And he's going to have to basically work out nonstop to be able to get this physique.
Is it Schwarzenegger?
No.
Huh.
See, that was my first thought, but it has to be huge, like a big person. Like this.
I could have confused you and just said he's playing the Hulk.
Is he doing? He's not doing Lou Ferrigno.
No, he's playing the Hulk. The Hulkster. The Hulkster. Yeah, Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay.
No, like, well, here's the thing. Well, so take, but you also have to. So he's doing Hulk Hogan, and this is going to be about his rise to fame, not about any of the controversies lately or even later in his career. So Hulk Hogan biopic about the rise of his career, directed by Todd Phillips, who did the Joker. So we're going to get some kind of movie out of this. But here's what I'm thinking. If the guy who has played Thor for almost a decade has to work out more to be Hulk Hogan, who the heck is going to play Andre the Giant? Like, where do you find Andre the Giant?
Oh, I bet they get the Giant from WWE to play Andre the Giant. That'd be the only thing that made sense to me.
You mean like Big Show or?
Yeah.
I just don't know. I would think if you're gonna do early Hulk Hogan career, through he obviously had appearances in movies and he was in the Rocky series, the Thunderlips and all that. But I would think it all almost has to culminate at the end of WrestleMania 3 in 1987, where he body slammed Andre the Giant, which was the first time Andre the Giant had ever been body slammed by anyone. So
yeah, I've got you on that all day long. But
you got to have Andre the Giant. I don't know who plays.
Dude, it's a CGI world. You have Danny DeVito play Andre the Giant. It doesn't make sense.
Sure. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how much Chris works out to look like Hulk Hogan. As soon as they see the hair, bro, it doesn't matter. I mean, that's all you'll be looking at.
Yeah. You do have to. No, it's gonna. You are gonna have to nail the hair. That's for sure.
Now I bet he's gonna be wearing like a do-rag the entire time. He's like, dude, I can't go bald. You know what I mean? I can't do that. Like it'll like the do-rag will come off like when he body slams like Andre, and that's probably the only time you see Chris Hemsworth bald-headed with the long Picard haircut going on. I don't know, dude. Like, who's asking for this? Why? They need it.
Hey, well, remember, this is from the guy who brought you the Joker, so it's going to be a crazy.
But everyone was asking for a Joker movie. Give us a Joker movie. We want Joker. You put Joker's face on it, they eat it up. Doesn't matter. Comic books, toys, whatever. The Joker sells. Hulk Hogan does not sell anymore. Like, I don't know. Like I've seen documentaries about the Hulk, and I'm like, yeah, man, I used to cheer for the Hulk when I was a kid. I don't want to see Chris Hemsworth like as the Hulk right now.
I don't. I think people are just looking for biopics to do, and maybe they just all wanted to do this. I don't know.
Is it going to be a musical like all the other biopics lately? Because that would be hilarious.
Not going to be a musical, but I mean, the other thing is he's going to have to nail that accent, like that, the gravelly voice and all the spots they did in between matches and stuff, where when you can YouTube those all day long, it was just crazy. So we'll see if he gets the inflection and stuff right. I don't know.
I bet Chaz.
I mean, you gotta. Huh?
I bet Chaz can do it.
Yeah. See, I'll just do his voiceover.
Well, Chaz, you're not going to care about this next bit of news either, because you're not a fan of this next entity or person. But Stargirl TV series, which I like and Chaz is like not. Been renewed for season 2, but there's a catch. It's not going to be on the same streaming service that it's on now. So right now it's premiering on DC Universe app, their streaming service, and it airs the next day on CW. Well, it's going to be exclusive to CW for season 2, which probably is kind of marking the beginning of the end for the DC Universe app, which I'm a really big fan of because the comic book access is amazing for podcast and research purposes. But it's like they lost that. Teen Titans still isn't renewed. Swamp Thing's gone. Doom Patrol's doing this weird duo presence with HBO Max. And they've also offered an HBO Max discount for DC Universe subscribers, which to me would indicate they're trying to get everyone to HBO Max, and they're probably just going to kill it and move it over probably in 2021.
Yeah.
Now, Chaz, I know you use that app a lot. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm cool with it, to tell you the truth. I mean, they implemented the rewards program for DCU, and you can get some pretty cool stuff. And I'll tell you what, I've explored the app way more because, to earn my reward points or whatever, like you can redeem them for like cool statues and memorabilia and stuff like that, which I think is a pretty cool incentive if you have an app. You're like, hey man, look at all this stuff. Rediscover or discover new things, especially when it comes to this app. So I've been enjoying it a lot more lately. If it switches over to, and of course I have had the inkling feeling that they're going to go to HBO, which is totally fine. I think everybody's waiting for the Justice League. They just dropped, the Batman v Superman with all the extra footage, which, explains a lot more to the movie. It doesn't make it that much better, but if there was a way that they could bring the entire catalog, that entire thing over to HBO, which I don't think they're going to do, that would be way cooler. But I think now that I'm interested in the app and then you're going to take it away, now that I think about it, that kind of sucks. You know, it just started to get interesting, and now it's going to be gone.
Well, it may not, but it just doesn't bode well that all the original programming that people first signed up for is either going away or not renewed yet. So it's just kind of something to sort of keep an eye on. But at some point, you would think the Marvel Comics library would end up on Disney Plus, and the DC Comics library would end up on HBO Max. But they're probably not going to make it that easy on us, I don't think.
Well, I mean, if they take all the movies and things and put them on HBO, and they're like, "Hey, but keep the app for $1.99 for all the comic books," I'm not going to do that. It's like, okay, well, I mean, I'm here for the movies and the TV shows. I'm reading the comics because of the rewards, and I highly doubt. I mean, I'm definitely not going to pay the same amount that I'm paying for it now. I don't know.
Right. Michigan, any thoughts on that? I know you don't mess with the DC Universe that much, but any thoughts on that, or just like maybe the future of digital comics?
I don't know. I mean, so are you saying that when they move away from the DC, the app, that you're gonna not have a place to read the comic books anymore?
Well, I just like if they end that app, then they'll probably have to resell the rights to like Comixology or something like that. So this was like exclusively DC Comics in a place where you could also watch stuff. So that's kind of like the only app that you can do that right now. So I just don't know if they think there's not a big demand for the digital comics, or if they just didn't have enough content to really start this thing in the beginning, because that half the people that use it are probably not reading the comics at all, and maybe half of the people that use it are not watching the shows at all, and they're just reading the comics. So maybe they are kind of running the numbers and just finding that it'd be better to separate them. And if you want the comics, you'll pay just for the comics. If you want the content, the visual content, you'll pay for the TV shows and movies. I don't know.
Is it like the Amazon Prime message that I get once a week that's like, when we've noticed you haven't been using the free music part of the Amazon? It's like,
yeah,
I would use it.
I mean, it is probably something like that because it's like, well, especially someone who signed up for both Amazon Prime and Spotify. I only use Spotify for music. So, I mean, it's nice to have extra features or whatever, but let's be honest, I pay Amazon for the Amazon Prime shipping.
Yeah.
And then everything else is kind of a bonus. And I do like some of their original content, but they're never going to be able to compete with Disney Plus or Netflix for TV shows and movies. So it's just kind of when the price goes up, I just assume it's like, oh, it's because of the cost of shipping is going up, especially in this time, in these times. So, but yeah, I mean, it's sort of like the TV VCR combo was cool, but if the TV broke or the VCR broke, you can't use it at all. So what was the point? Like I would.
That's
It
pretty
might.
good.
It might just be better to have all. It might just be better to have your technology separate. But
I'm one of the old school guys. I like the comic book in my hand anyway. I'm not a big digital guy, and again, I'm doing the digital thing through DC because it's like, okay, earn 5 points if you read this book. And there's been a couple where I'm like, I haven't read this before, and after I read it, I'm like, all right, cool, I'll read the next couple of issues just because why not? But yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna be hurt if it goes away. Then again, I'm kind of enjoying it right now, so I'm like, well, if you're gonna take it away, well, that kind of sucks. I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence about this one. I'll just do that.
Well, I mean, nothing's been announced. I'm just kind of reading, reading from what they give, kind of reading between the lines of the moves they're making and or not making. But so on to another entity. Disney's going to release Mandalorian-based comics and young adult books. Now, I don't think people can get enough of Baby Yoda. And I think this is probably a good idea. So, have there not? I guess Marvel has not made any Mandalorian-based comics yet.
No.
No, bounty hunters. No.
Oh, then this is probably like a no-brainer, right? I mean, do you think this is going to be something that people want put in their pull boxes? Yeah.
No problem at all. It'll be flying off the shelf just like Kylo Ren and bounty hunters has been.
Uh-huh.
And I don't even think that you necessarily have to put Baby Yoda in this. I think if you give the backstory on him, on his plan, on the side characters like Cara Dune, you can do like one shots, miniseries galore of the stuff that Favreau has built for that universe so far. And it does sound like, I mean, Star Wars has always been on a multi-pronged attack as far as action figures, video games, books, young adult book, comics, but it seems like now with this and the new the High Republic stuff that's coming out, it sounds like they're really focused on younger readers, young adult books, and comics for all ages. So it seems like even though they say they were focusing on that, like the before times, before the Skywalker series, like 200 years before or whatever. Obviously, they're not going to stop making stuff for these other entities like Mandalorian, which takes place after that fact. So I guess you got to kind of just treat it like a pocket universe within that universe. But I think that's something that will sell well, especially they're going to have variants of the child just to have people grab that off the shelf. So look for that. No release date have been listed for that. So obviously no artists or writers, but that's just something that's been announced. And I would assume if we don't have it in our hands by October when season 2 comes on, we'll at least know all the details. But another something to look forward to for Star Wars fans out there. All right, so comic, Miss Jen, we knew that Negan Lives was going to be a big deal. So were you able to read that? Did it live up to the hype? Did everyone want it? What was that, and what else was kind of flying off the shelf last?
It was kind of a really weird week, right? It was a DC and Marvel skip week, which is kind of hard on comic book shops when there's nothing on the racks except for just a few things. It turned out to be an all Image, all Scout week, which is weird. But Scout had a whole bunch of number ones drop. Negan did really well. It was cool because it came out the same time as Firepower, which was Kirkman's new big project, and that was really good. I enjoyed Firepower a lot. It's weird to start a series with an OGN that's an ongoing series, but I think it's going to work.
Yeah, it was weird. Another big one was The Boys, number 2. Dear Becky.
Oh yeah, that miniseries, the Dear Becky spinoff.
Yeah, and number 2 came out this last Wednesday, and that seems to be a pretty hot book as well. And then what else? I don't remember too much of anything. Yeah, it's hard.
Loggerhead, Murder Hobo, Everglades, and there was one more Scout. There were a whole bunch of number one Scouts.
That Texas book did pretty good too. I forget what it was called.
That Texas Blood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird if a Marvel or DC doesn't come out. Then it's like, I don't know. Like, people will come in the day up, and I just put them on the shelf. They're like, "What's new?" I was like,
Well, and now both of you are in a situation where you have new release Tuesday and new release Wednesday. So, Miss Jen, are you finding that people just come in on Wednesday, or?
Yeah, we pretty much, because it would take, we basically have an entire crew that comes in on Wednesday or on Tuesday to process books for Wednesday release. If I have them come on Monday also, then it's kind of hard on them, right? Because it's a lot of work to do that. So I've decided that, Tuesday release for the rest of the country, if they want to do it for DC, is fine. But I think for us, we're just sticking with the Wednesday thing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing as well. Because we have people that come in on Tuesday to process, and then I come in early on Wednesday and just put everything out. But if somebody comes in and like, "Hey, I want the new Batman," well, okay, here. I mean, it's out anyway because we're bagging and boarding it. But
yeah,
everything's out on a Wednesday for us as well.
Yeah.
And so far, we haven't had anybody come in and going, "Where's the new Justice League? I want it now." Like, well, you can't get your Marvel book until tomorrow, so piss off. No, sorry.
And Miss Jen, I know that you have to order stuff 3-4 weeks in advance, but did you put any orders in for those like Wednesday comic or the Wednesday variants from Marvel? Those sort of like a shot at taking a jab at DC.
Heck yeah! I thought those were just bizarre enough that everyone would want them.
It's really weird. I mean, I know it's like a new release Wednesday has been a thing as long as I've collected comics, so I know that's like a thing. And video games and movies are typically on Tuesdays. So I mean, I guess they were just banking on the fact of almost like a nostalgia or bizarre factor of okay, and any chance to, I guess, take a shot at their major competitor too. But it's just kind of weird. I mean, and it's going to be over all their major titles, right? Is it going to spell out Wednesday, or does it just say Wednesday Comic Book Day?
Yeah, it just says Wednesday is New Comic Book Day on the front. That's what it says.
It's really bizarre, but look for those in a few weeks. So as far as this week, I know we got it's all bad. It seems like with DC, it's all Batman all the time. I know there's like a deceased Dead Planet #1, which once again, if you burned out on Deceased, then you probably aren't going to pick up another miniseries out of the same vein. But Deceased Dead Planet #1, but then you have Detective Comics 1023, which is another run-up to the Joker War. I'll be relieved when the Joker War starts because I feel like we've been talking about it for 2 months already. And it's just like every week's a run-up. So you got that, and then Batman 94, which I'm sure is another run-up to the Joker War. Now, one thing I was interested in on the Marvel side, this is not a new book, but they're having an extended cut of God Loves, Man Kills, which is a very famous back when Marvel used to just throw original graphic novels in the kind of like the Black Label size, right? I mean, they were bigger, maybe a little taller and thinner, but this is an awesome Chris Claremont story. God Loves, Man Kills. So is that going to be released in part, or is it is that all at once with just like variant cover?
I think it's just like a facsimile reproduction of #1 with some extra stuff.
Oh, okay. Because I think when that came out, it was just a graphic novel, right? It wasn't issues. It was just one book. So I don't know if because it's an extended cut, it's supposed to be bigger or divided in parts. I don't know, but like if you haven't read that, go check that out. That is God Love Man Kills, the extended cut by Chris Claremont. So prime X stuff. Now, Miss June, you also had posted an article about this news, but in the 80th Green Lantern book, 80th anniversary Green Lantern, Hal Jordan reveals a secret to Batman, which was not so much of a secret, but I guess just like a personal kind of thing that he's had where he's always trying to live up to Batman, and he doesn't ever think he's worthy of the ring. What do you think about that? Because Batman does a lot of shady stuff. So I'm kind of surprised that Hal Jordan had that moment where he's like, I want to be more like Batman. I would think Batman should be more like Hal Jordan. But what's your thought?
I didn't really think that was what he said was the big reveal, though. I thought what the article was talking about was the big reveal was that he felt like he would have never stopped being Parallax without that knowledge.
Without the knowledge of what? Of Batman being
just trying to be as good as Batman. If Batman didn't exist, he would have just kept on being Parallax.
Right, but Batman always does a bunch of shyster stuff. So that's why I was saying like he's not like the, I don't know. He's just like Batman, especially like if you look at the Christopher Nolan movies and he's like just tracking all citizens and stuff. Yeah. I mean, I know that's not the comics version, but I think Hal Jordan's worthy of the ring. It's just weird that he was questioning, I'm not worthy of the ring because I know Batman's not always on the up and up, So
I don't see Batman as like, if you're gonna choose a character to look at for moral upstanding whatever behavior, not him.
Yeah, and that's why I was surprised by that. But it's a good story. That was one of the probably the most surprising story out of that book. Now, have either of you seen the pictures of this new character from Death Metal, the Robin King? And what the heck is that? Because I'm scared.
He looks pretty terrifying to me. I would not want to meet him in a dark alley.
Chaz, have you seen the Robin King?
No, I'm not reading Death Metal because I refuse to read Death Metal.
Well, Google the Robin King and check it out because it does look like a Robin version of the Batman Who Laughs. It's just a super creepy Robin.
Does he have feathers? Please tell me he has feathers.
I don't know if he has feathers, but he's definitely got maybe like a crown.
I think he's wearing the crown of thorns.
He's wearing the crown of thorns. He's got feathers around his neck. He looks like a wrestler.
Yeah.
He looks like he was once a hard boy, but now he is lost.
So they did a reveal who the designer is. Is he the Robin King?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh. No, the designer was he was like a mummified body, which I found was very weird.
Huh.
Well, yeah, when they revealed him, like they pull off the mask, spoilers, and he's like this mummified face, and it was the Joker the entire time. It was the Joker's voice. The Joker was in a different room, like talking with it through a walkie-talkie. It was very 1966 Batman.
He was puppeting him?
Yeah. And I'm like, well, okay, how the hell did that work? Because the designer seemed to be really, really cool. It turns out it was the Joker the whole time, but in a paper mache body, which doesn't make any sense. They kind of lost me on that one. They could have done something really cool, and they did not.
I want to talk about all of the stuff we can't talk about for spoilers, stuff that happened in Batman last time. I mean, Punchline seemed to end a couple characters.
Oh my God! Yes, that's what's made the book so cool. I mean, end characters, and you're like, what? So if you haven't read it, I mean, you should have read it already. This is great. Yeah. So that made up for the thing that that happened at the very end, as far as the unveiling of. But then the Joker does something really, really cool, where you're like, all right, I'm back on track. So you had one mess up, but I love Punchline even more now because she's ruthless and she's like, listen, sorry for you, but
Cut a girl.
it's so good. And I'm like, did this just happen? Because what are you gonna do to bring these people back? And they're A-list characters.
Mhm.
Now wait, was that Batman 93?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. But
Yes.
Joker War still has yet to start, right? Okay.
Starts in 95, I think, right? Yeah.
Starts in 95. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
because 94 comes out this week, and then I know Detective 1023 has
Oh.
leading up to Joker War or whatever on there, so that'll start eventually. Miss Jen, any other comic news to throw out there as we wrap it up?
I mean, Dark Horse got a gut punch this week. It's like when you lose. I kept on saying like they can't lose very many more franchises before they don't have anything, and they just lost two of their biggest, Aliens and Predator.
Oh yeah, they're coming to the MCU. If they were to ever come to the MCU, that would be nuts. But like, they're definitely coming to comics. So, and I just remember those two entities carrying them for a while, right? I mean, like 80s, 90s, like it's always been Dark Horse Comics. Was that just something? How did that work? Was it just did Marvel just buy them out, or?
Yeah, my guess is that the licensing was up, and then the bidding war began, and Dark Horse couldn't keep up, I guess.
Yeah, man, Dark Horse ain't got Disney money, son.
No, but I guess I never thought of it as the licensing being up, even though those were Fox entities, right? But like I never thought that was a possibility of them losing that. So has Marvel announced any upcoming series with that, or I mean, I guess that just happened, so they probably yet announced anything.
Not yet, but they'll do a lot, right? Because that's what happened with Conan. Conan, we thought they'd get Conan, they'd do 1 or 2 titles, and then they did like 5. So I'm sure there'll be a bunch of goodies.
Oh, so we're gonna have symbiotes versus aliens, right? Because that would be that would be awesome. And what would happen if a symbiote overtook an alien? What would that look like?
There you go. Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell!
I could see the home planet of Clytar or whatever be taken over by aliens.
Yeah. Chaz, any parting thoughts?
Party thoughts, man. Party on, Wayne.
Parting thoughts, whatever.
No. Nope. Nope.
What'd you draw?
So, several weeks ago, I drew this Skeletor, but I wasn't happy with. Hold on, let me unblur my screen because it likes to do things. I wasn't happy with it. This Skeletor I didn't like. So I didn't like him. So redrew Skeletor.
Yeah,
He's more traditional there.
That's a more traditional one, but the first one you showed, that looked like something like Mike Mignola would do. Yeah, but I like that one.
Thanks. A lot of people did. I'm just like, that's not my Skeletor. So I drew mine, and this was kind of a sketch because I have a whole body that I'm actually gonna do on a piece of paper that it wasn't used for the Adventure Begins show. Yeah. So it's on sale, kiddies. Buy it now.
Yeah. Well, thanks once again, guys, Miss Jen and Chaz, for being on here with me. And thank you for watching and listening to Nerd News Now, part of the Kingdom of Geekdom on Woodlands Online, sponsored by Space Cadets Collection, and The Adventure Begins. Check out the other shows on Woodlands Online, like Taste Buds, Music Cafe, The Adventure Begins Show with Chaz and Jarek, Woodlands House and Home, The Best You, Weekly Fallout Sports Talk, and Between the Trees Business Talk. You can watch all these on Woodlands Online and on our partner station, KBQT HD21, over the air on your television. All these shows and more on Roku right now. Just search and add Woodlands Online TV to your streaming lineup, and you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, Pandora, or wherever you get your podcast from. Until next time, we'll see you next time. Until next time, we'll see you next time on Nerd News Now.
Next time.